Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Kairos and Exigence. And I'm going to start by talking about three different kind of images and definitions for Kairos. And we'll see if we can't sort of triangulate between them to come up with a good working definition for us of what Kairos might mean. The first way to think about Kairos is this kind of perplexing image, which you would have seen if you were an ancient Greek citizen heading into the arena to watch a sporting event. Maybe a track event or the early Olympics. So this figure is Kairos, representing opportunity, and he would have greeted you on the outside of the sort of doors to the arena. And that's because the Greeks believed that Kairos was constantly moving around inside the arena, offering opportunities to each of the athletes if only they could seize it. And this representation is kind of allegorical. That is, all these sort of funky details have meaning. For instance, he's got these giant wings on his back, but he also has even smaller wings on his feet. That's to indicate that he's quite speedy, right? He moves very quickly by you. He doesn't come slowly, but he barrels past. He's got this very strange haircut where we can see that it's very long in front, and then it's completely bald or shaved in back. And that's to indicate that you can only seize opportunity for a very brief time. The idea was that you could grab this fellow by the hair and hold on to him, and he would grant your desire. He would grant your opportunity. But if you missed him, there's nothing to hold on to behind. There's no hair there. So if you don't grab him by his forelock, he's taken off. And lastly, you can see that he is rather strangely balancing a pair of scales on a razor in his hand. And that's to show how razor thin the moment of opportunity is. So this is a visual representation of the Greek god Kairos, or opportunity. But let's think about another way of thinking about Kairos. This is Aristotle, the famous Greek philosopher's definition of Kairos. He says, anybody can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power and is not easy. So here Aristotle is saying that not only is there an appropriate time, but there's an appropriate degree and an appropriate situation and an appropriate person and an appropriate context for you to become angry, for you to have emotion, for you to leverage what you have to say. And here's one more public thinker of a more recent vintage. You guys unfortunately will not get to hear me rap. But if you remember the song Lose Yourself by Eminem, this song is also about Kairos. It's about opportunity, right? You only get one shot, as Eminem says. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. So here's three different ways of thinking about time and opportunity in rhetoric. The ancient Greeks had two terms for time. They had chronos, which we're probably more familiar with, and kairos. Chronos is clock or calendar time. For instance, right now it's 4:06 p.m. on Tuesday, June 26, 2018, when I'm recording this. That's a calendar moment that will come and go and will never return. Kairos is opportune time. It's appropriate opportunity and situation. It's Aristotle's anger at the right time, person, place, and degree. Or if you prefer, it's Eminem's one shot at the moment that you own it, at that moment that opens up in the window of the music that you're listening to. Kairos is a constant in our life. When is the right time to throw a curveball in baseball? When is the right moment to ask that boy out from class? We are constantly sensitive to these decisions. We're constantly trying to figure out when is the best time for us to ask this question, when is the best time for us to do this thing. A rhetor has to carefully choose how and when to enter a controversy, and they have to be sensitive to the context. A message that protests American immigration laws might be really well received at a protest. But it might be very poorly received at a family 4th of July party because the context might not be right, the kairos might not be right, It's not the most opportune time, place, situation for you to make that argument. Exigence is a term that we use to talk about a way that you can sort of create kairos. So one way that a rhetor uses kairos to their advantage is by demonstrating that the controversy they're addressing has exigence. And this is how the rhetorician Lloyd Bitzer defined exigence. It's an imperfection marked by urgency. It is a defect, an obstacle, something waiting to be done, a thing which is other than it should be. In other words, in simple words, exigence is something wrong in the world that must be responded to by action. So exigence is a powerful tool for a rhetor. It allows a rhetor to claim that this is the right moment to take action and to demonstrate why that is. So exigence is like kairos plus. If kairos is knowing the right time and the right situation to address someone, exigence is saying this is exactly the right moment for us to take action on this issue, and I'm going to show you why. Something is wrong, something is imperfect, and it's urgent that we fix it. Okay, doubtless you'll think about this quite a bit, but let's wrap up and review very quickly. So a rhetor needs to have great sensitivity to the context and to the place of their argument. And their argument will be more persuasive if they can identify exigency in the situation. That is, if they can say this is not just the right time, but the crucial time to address this issue. So for us as rhetorical analysts, we have to ask ourselves, what prompted this person to speak at this moment? Why are they intervening in the controversy at this moment? And is their intervention appropriate? We can read into their articles to answer the first two questions. They'll often tell us what prompted them to speak. Or we can learn more about the context to see if it's the right time for them to speak, to see why they're intervening in this controversy at this time. The last one is a judgment call often that we have to make and provide evidence for. Is their intervention appropriate? We have to have a strong enough sense of the context in which their argument is appearing to know, was this the right time to make this argument? Why or why not? So as you move forward in this class, you'll spend time thinking about what prompted the rhetors in your argument to speak. Why is this argument particularly important right now? And how are people addressing it? How are people finding those windows of kairos, those opportune places and times to address this? And are they successfully making claims that this is exigent? Are they successfully telling us that this is the time that we need to take care of this? All right, so concepts to practice. Don't forget to take the quiz about this, and I'll talk to you next time.